Greetings and salutations, YouTubers and malefactors. Stoplogic Motorsports from my storage room of my house. You're saying, well, why are you in your guest/storage room? Well, thanks to me purchasing another motorcycle, the same thing happened when I got my Africa Twin 4 years back, I'm single-handedly ending the drought in Texas. For about the last 3 weeks, we've had nothing but 4 or 5 days a week rain, and I'm determined that I'm going to ride this bike come heck or high water. In most cases, just high water. So why am I looking at the Jet 4 Seasons jacket? Well, because it has a waterproof feature, and in some of my old videos, I threatened to let my wife beat me with a hose. Well, why would I need to do that now when I can just have nature provide the beating? At any rate, there's also going to be some format changes at Stoplogic Motorsports. Essentially, we're going to be doing a bit more rides, a bit more product reviews, and a little less long-form, 2-hour videos of me wrenching on bikes. Which I know all of you absolutely love watching me wrench on a bike for 2.5 hours, successfully or sometimes not successfully. We'll still be doing some of those long-form videos, but for the most part, we're going to be trying to do a little bit more active endeavors. So upload days are pretty much going to stay relatively close. Tuesdays we're going to do new content. Thursdays I have a significant backlog of older content that we do need to get out for folks because it's a lot of good how-to materials. But hopefully today we do the mark of the start of the new format of the channel. So at any rate, hopefully I'm going to be able to track down a nice thunderstorm. We're going to go out and do 100 miles. I'm not going to record the whole 100 miles because as much fun as that is for both of us, really we just want to chase some storms on a lightweight dual sport, which most likely isn't the most smart idea for personal survival. Well, there's nothing severe out here anyway, it's just thunderstorms. But at any rate, stay tuned. Hopefully we get to have some fun together and I get to ride a lightweight dual sport in high wind situation with no anti-lock brakes. In the meantime, be right back. Well, greetings and salutations, malefactors and YouTubers, we're back. And since I can't seem to find a dry day, we're going to go ahead and seek water. So we're just about to embark looking for heavy storms. At any rate, currently wearing my O'Neill pants, which are kind of more street-oriented rain pants, and the Fly 4 Seasons jacket. So, what we're going to do is we're basically going to head west and look for the heaviest thunderstorms and see if I stay dry. So, we're all gassed up and ready to go. And this is twofold. I'm trying to get to 600 miles on here so I can have the engine fully broken in. So I'll record some of this heading out and kind of describe the current conditions. So right now it's a light drizzle. It's around 76, 77 degrees here in Texas. And expected to have some heavy thunderstorms if I head a little west. So right off the bat, I'm in this 4 Seasons jacket, and nearly 80 degrees. This thing with the rain liner in feels kind of like boiling bag rice. It's a little warm. And I just realized I forgot something important. I have to stop back by the homestead. But yeah, so far at 50 miles an hour, there is no signs of wind coming through this jacket. I guess no air, no water as well. So I mean, in a way, it is what it is. The other gear I have on are my dirt bike knee pads and Formatera adventure boots. So Forma has a nice selection of ADV boots if you have a wide flat foot. The ADV boot itself is kind of more street oriented. The Terra is like a city Crossfire,
More of like a motocross style boot with a hinge. Super comfortable, and it has Gore-Tex just like its more adventurized, more road-oriented adventurized cousin. Goodness, I can't believe I forgot my wallet. Out of all the stuff I get ready today, I forget my wallet. Oh, it is what it is. Now, I will admit I'm a little nervous about taking this thing out in the rain. We don't have ABS on the front, so if you're a newer rider with less experience, it's a good idea to kind of practice in the dirt in slicker conditions of modulation of your front brake. And the last thing you really want to do is just grab a fistful of front brake. Alright, I'm going to pop in and grab my wallet real quick. We'll be right back. Trying to up my game a little bit, learn how to do some more stuff. Whew, dang, this helmet's definitely foggy. I always run a pin lock visor because I'm just too lazy to change back to a non-pin lock. It's amazing in cold weather, but when it comes to hot weather, it fogs up fairly quickly. Alright, so far, it's not Fly Jacket, it's Jet Four Seasons jacket. Completely dropped the ball on that. Still definitely feel like boiling bag of rice today. So the big push is, after I get the engine broken in, we're going to switch to a 49 tooth rear sprocket. I'm going to try out the Tusk D-Sport tires. And they didn't have ride-on in stock anywhere, my usual balancing goose, so I'm trying this new product, Sierra Moto, which of course we're going to do a in-depth review on that. I'm kind of curious to see how it stacks up against ride-on. I mean, ride-on tamed my RM125 with rim locks from being nearly impossible to ride above 45 miles an hour to a smooth ride up to about 65. So if this is any bit as good, then I'd be pretty happy with it. Right now, still we're on stock tires and everything. I didn't see the point in taking the whole bike apart until we get the engine broken in. The other thing I'm going to do, since most of the tires you can get for this are 120 by 90s, which adds half an inch height to your rear ride height, is I'm going to do the factory lowering at the clevis with the lock bolt. I might do a video on that, or I might just put a link to how to do it, because there's tons of people who have done this for years, way before I have. But much past that, I mean, not really a whole ton else going on right now. Just waiting for another race to come semi nearby. Maybe do some another ride out at Spokes after we get these new tires on and everything. Oh goodness. I also have some Renthal bars on order, so I have more real estate on here. So we're going to redo the kinetic sand idea. We'll do a few days of testing with the bars as is, and then I'll go back and fill them full of kinetic sand and BBs and see what we have there. Whew. Sorry to keep opening the vent, but man, it is god-awful hot. Now I know how minute rice feels. Then again, I'm not used to wearing a full textile jacket. I always wear like my mesh. And with the rain liner over my Joe Rocket jacket, it's really hot too. So I mean, no, this is a knock against the jacket that I'm currently wearing. But yeah, every light I'm having to stop so I can defog. So yeah, the idea is either Horseshoe Bay or Valente, or there's another city out way west. Starts with an L. I can't remember. Lago Vista. That's all beautiful riding up there. I hadn't been out those ways in years since I don't do third-party building inspection anymore. I don't do a lot of drive time inspections, going out all over the place. But the cool part about it is I got to see a lot of the area when I first came here, and I kind of got used to finding stuff. Now it's probably about an hour and a half ride from here, so yeah, we're not going to record the whole entire hour and a half out to wherever I choose to go. I know I'm going west. Now hopefully this experiment works and I'm not sweating to death in the shirt that I have picked out. I purposely picked a shirt that would be a light color that would show up water from the bike. But since I am kind of sweating to death in it, I'm kind of afraid that's going to throw off the experiment a bit, so I might have to rely on a hybrid of description and real-world testing. I feel like Chris Farley in this jacket. I'm a little bit too big for it, and I'm sweating like crazy. But so far, I don't feel like any of the rain's getting to me, so, you know, there is that. Alright, I really don't like all these cars chasing up my rear. And yeah, I could take the tollway up, but we're going to take back roads today. I'm going to try and stay off of main highways. I've abused this poor bike enough in the break-in process. So if we do get any heavy storms, I'll be popping all this back on real quick like. I'm kind of hoping to hit like a thunderstorm real quick here in a minute, but feels like I'm just getting a little bit of rain all over the place. Well, now that I've kind of maintained about 65, 70 miles an hour, I can actually feel a little bit of breeze through the jacket, cooling me down a bit. So, actually it's not too bad, as long as you keep moving. Tell you what, I mean, if you're new to riding, probably wet riding is a little bit daunting for you. My advice is, you know, if you're learning, try and learn in areas with less traffic. Get a feel for your bike. Get tires that are rated well for wet weather riding. Doing this on knobbies is a lot more difficult. So when you're looking to pick a wet weather tire, you want something that has a lot of contact patch, but also sheds water to the sides of the tire. So it would be debated whether, like, my favorite street tire is the Shinko 705 for Dual Sport, because it does shed water really well to the sides. In my experience, it actually sheds it directly into my boot. but you kind of look for a tire that purposely sheds water. Knobbies on ground like this will take a lot longer to stop, so you got to leave yourself 3-4 seconds to stop. As a newer rider too, you got to get used to not panic braking, so I would definitely, if you have no experience, probably start with something with traction control and anti-lock brakes, or take a year or two to practice in the dirt, because there's a lot of different skill levels in the dirt. Unfortunately, on the road, the only skill level you have is don't die. And you're not only mitigating your own risk, you're mitigating risk from all of the other people around you, which is much harder to do because you can't really control their actions. You can just control how you react to it. I know I'm supposed to, per MSF, stay, you know, with driver's side, but on country roads where you have limited visibility, staying in line with driver's side is sometimes more dangerous because people will sometimes blow the turns. You want to give yourself that ability to run out a little bit. Now don't get all the way over on the right-hand line. That doesn't give you any run out. But it's a good idea to stay in line with passenger if you're on winding country roads. Give you a little bit of time to run out, give you a little extra time to react to cars that aren't necessarily in their lane. Someone might be browsing their phone, getting on Twitter or Facebook. And you want to have those couple of seconds to kind of gather yourself and make a decision. All humans have a bit of input lag when it comes to anything they do on a bike. From what I understand, it's like a 0.5 of a second. Fortnite actually does a really good video about the amount of delay that occurs when you're making decisions on a bike. So a bit of background about myself, since I've never really gone into that, is I've been riding since I was about 8 years old. Raced enduros, did some Bajas, Vegas to Barstow, do some long distance road riding. But for the most part, I spent most of my formative years of riding racing TCCRA in North Texas. I did that from 8 until 17, and then rode pretty much exclusively street for a few years, and then quit. From 20 to 33. So pretty much from 33 now to, I guess I have gusted into 37s coming up here in a couple of months. I've been riding dual sport, mostly street, but I do still try and get to hair scrambles and do some regular dirt riding. Alright, we're back. Malfactors and YouTubers. Finally hit some pretty substantial rain about 40 miles into my ride. Trying to get back on the road real quick after turning everything back on, but it's a little busy here today. Too bad I wasn't recording. I went by a rock quarry that looked kind of cool, and then I nearly just got creamed by a guy just pulling out into traffic without looking. So as I said, if you're not a seasoned rider, rain without ABS is kind of life on hard mode. And that is a lot of cars. Come on. I'm about to stop for gas not too long from now. Here another 30 miles, I should be hitting my low fuel light. So yeah, we we started getting some real rain out here. Do I still feel dry? Well, my pants are not actually wet weather pants, they're motocross pants that I'm wearing right now. So they're drying and wicking water away fairly well. Honestly, it feels like my chest is getting really wet in this. I'm not sure if the rain line is really that effective. Oh, we're going to do about 20 miles of this and see where we're at on it. I tell you what though, the temperature change is quite nice with this rain pouring down on me. Well, not pouring, but it's a nice, heavier, steady rain. I don't know if the GoPro does a good job of catching it. Still, I can't believe that dude just like pulled in front of me. All those cars behind me are getting nice and freaked out, having to watch me kind of get all over my brakes in the wet. The mic is getting a little bit, broke loose a little bit. Luckily I keep a handle on things. For the most part though, most other people out here have been really good today. Kept keeping a following distance, not cutting me off. I will say with these dirt gloves on though, my hands are pretty wet right now. So where are we at? We are, I think, far side of Georgetown, or we're in Liberty Hill. Hard to really tell. I don't think we made it out to Liberty Hill quite yet. Cimarron Hills, yeah, I think that's a far reach Georgetown. This is all very high dollar out here. The type of houses I'm never gonna see. I'll tell you what. Mid 300,000s. Well, that's still about 100,000 above my price range. And right as I turn everything back on, the rain starts to let up, but we should have another storm coming through here in just a little bit. So my arms feel a little bit wet. And I feel like where the zipper area is on my jackets actually kind of had a bit of water infiltration. We should have some more rain though. It's been steady, so I mean, it might not have been pouring down except for that one little spot where we had some heavy rain when I fired back up. Don't trust any of these people on the sides. Yeah, 230 to 500,000. I can afford that. This is way, 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 way far away from work. This would be really in the wrong direction. But anyways. Another thing to bear in mind when you don't have a slipper clutch when you're downshifting in the rain is that you are not super aggressive with your downshifts. You can chirp the tire, and that'll also break your back end loose. Oh, we're in Leander. Holy crap. Ronald Reagan Boulevard. That's what your GPS will say if you're going here. Ronald Reagan Boulevard, but it only says Ronald Reagan. I always turn my GPS to UK to feel like I'm being talked down to. Goodness. Leander. This place has grown a ton since I was looking for houses up here or did inspections. The population out here has like tripled since I first moved out here. A guy on a proper ADV bike. No, I'm riding this. Do I miss the Africa Twin? For street road comfort, yeah, that bike is far more comfortable. This isn't bad. Once I get my bars in and my riser, I'm gonna toss a windshield on this bad boy. That should help a little bit. And why am I tilting my helmet left and right? It still blows some of the rain off of my direct line of sight. Always look twice before you switch. It's a bad part when the rain isn't super heavy, it's just like constant mist and it's speed. When you have heavy rain, it wicks off the face mask. This stuff is just not doing it. So you're wondering, well, why don't you use like Rain-X or something? Well, it's because it creates light artifacts and hazing on motorcycle windshields. Now, if they've reformulated it for motorcycle visors, maybe, but I made that mistake back in the day on a street helmet I had. I could not ride at night with that thing after I did it. Yeah, I know I'm riding without GPS, but I really know where I'm going out here. Not going fast enough to shed water, so I'll just use my gloves, though it makes a little bit of streaks. Alright. Keep on going, 29 west. Now we're out in like Liberty Hill. So you go north on 183 and it deads in a town called Cisco. Well, pretty much. I've never been further north on it than that, but you can go 4 hours north on this. Excuse me. Probably about 2 hours north of here, you see the windmill farms. Quite a beautiful, beautiful drive. Looks like we're over with the rain for a bit. Let's see. So we've done about nearly 40 miles. A little over 40 miles, actually, nearly 50 miles. I was pretty close on my gas. I couldn't read it. It was all messy. Well, we'll keep on going. It's where one of my old coworkers used to run the building department. I think he currently runs the building department in Liberty Hill. Big shout out to Mr. Elias. We'll stop at that QT. I might as well top off my fuel too, so I don't have to stop for a while. I know I've got a lot more range on this. I mean, I've only done nearly 50 miles. I can push it all the way to about 100, but it's really weird for me to see QTs down here. They're up in DFW where I moved from before I came down here. It's like when I started seeing QTs and Aldi's, I'm like, yeah, it's almost like being home again, but, you know, with, you know, a little bit more laid back people. No ethanol. Well, if it was 93 with no ethanol, I could use it. Fuel light on now. Well, let's wrap this wet, rainy day up. Alrighty, so that was a 120 mile ride in the rain. We'll see how this jacket did. It still kind of weirds me out to have a left-hand zipper, so give me a second. This is not a format I'm familiar with. Let's see what we got. Weather had a little bit of a sense of humor. On the way back, it stopped raining for about 30 minutes or so, so I was worried I was going to dry out, but apparently that probably isn't an issue. Let's see the damage. Whew, that thing is mighty heavy. So this is the material of my rain liner in here. I'm guessing it's mostly just water resistant, not waterproof. Nice good look at that. Let's see. Actually, I appear to be just slightly damp. So this is dry area right here. And this is wet. So I'd say this jacket actually kind of functioned as it was intended to function. So I wasn't uncomfortable, but I wasn't terribly comfortable for the whole process. But
the WR250 performed admirably well in wet conditions. Only had a few people go out in front of me and had to kind of stop with a bit of worry and emergency. But I'd say this was a rousing success today. So, if you are thinking about the Amazon Jet Jacket, at the very least the wet weather function on it works fairly well. I haven't had a chance to test the cold because by the time we were getting ready to get riding again, it was getting about 80 degrees. So in the meantime, thanks for hanging in there, and hope you guys enjoy. As always, like and subscribe, and we have a few more, I guess, more sciencey videos coming up soon, so feel free to look forward to that. In the meantime, have a good one.